Now, this is yet another statement that has come in from the Ministry of Defence. This is regarding the disengagement process, disengagement of troops, which is on along the LAC, or the India and China troops here, along the line of actual control in Ladakh. The Ministry of Defence says that India has not conceded any territory. India has prevented, in fact, any unilateral change and outstanding issues to be taken up. So this is, of course, an ongoing process here. But remember, this statement also coming in the face of massive criticism that we just heard earlier today by the Congress, saying that India has given territory away to China. So this is a strong statement, a response to that. We have with us my colleague Tanvi Shukla getting us further details here, the import of the statement now that's come in from the Ministry of Defence. Yes, Tanvi.
So effectively, it's just a reiteration of what the Defence Minister himself said in the Parliament yesterday and the statement that he made in both of the houses. So I'm just going to highlight a couple of points. One is operative part is that the Defence Ministry has again said that there are outstanding problems to be addressed, including at Hot Springs, at Gogra and Depsang. Now, these are the other regions where we are still in a standoff with China, and there the disengagement has not started. So the ministry has actually again clarified that the outstanding issues are to be taken up within 48 hours of the completion of the Pangong disengagement, which is what is currently on, and the visuals that we're looking at our screens is of that disengagement. The other disagreement is to what extent does India see its territory in this area, in the entire finger area, where India has repeatedly said that while we do have established permanent posts up to finger 3, we do have the right to go on with our patrolling up to finger 8. So there is no concession of land which has happened at any point, or a change in the view of the government or assertion of the government of what is our land and what we perceive as the LAC and thereby China's land. So some of the pointers there which are there in this latest statement.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So Tanvi, this is not just a reiteration. This is also an updated statement in mentioning the areas that were not mentioned before here. And this comes in directly after a point-blank allegation that we'd heard from the Congress, specifically naming those areas where the Congress tried to say that were taken over. In the Ministry of Defence's statement here, those areas are now mentioned, saying that a disengagement process in these areas is still on. Tanvi, is my voice going through? That question for you, please.
In fact, you are right. And this is the very important part as well for our viewers to understand now, irrespective of the speculations which are being made or the points that are being raised by the opposition, and that political fight will actually just go on. But for our viewers to understand, there are multiple points along the eastern Ladakh sector where we are currently in a standoff position. Where the disengagement has taken place is where the situation had become really bad, where we were essentially literally face to face with the Chinese army, where they had brought their tanks up to this place. And so it is being seen by experts as a good move that we've essentially managed to push them back there, and some amount of withdrawal has taken place there. Now, once this process here is done and both sides are convinced that the two are observing, the agreement that there will not be any further incursions in this zone, will we see the process of disengagement on the other fronts, which are also supposed to be equally tricky, the Hot Springs, the Gogra, and the Depsang region. Like you said, this has been also raised by the opposition party, and this statement essentially saying that, yes, of course, here the disengagement is yet to begin. I just want to read out the last line, though, because this is the government now again saying that those who doubt the achievements made possible by the sacrifices of our military personnel are actually disrespecting them. And important to draw the distinction here. This isn't the forces saying it, but it's actually the government making this point.
Absolutely. Tanvi, many thanks for getting us those details here in the latest statement now that has come in from the Ministry of Defence on this issue. With that, we're slipping into a very tiny breather. Stay on with us here, please. News and updates that continue.